Good morning, students. I am Dr. N. Sai Kumari from RMK College of Engineering and Technology. And today's class, you will see a few facts on energy storage devices. Now, commonly, when you consider storage devices, especially energy storage devices, immediate thing which comes into our mind is a cell, otherwise a battery. There are two types of cell. One is the electrolytic cell, another one is electrochemical cell. But when we come to the purpose of a storage of energy, we give importance to electrochemical cell. Now, what do we mean by electrochemical cell? Electrochemical cell is a device that converts chemical energy into electrical energy. That is, chemical energy is produced by means of number of chemical reactions take place respectively at the anode and the cathode. And these chemical energy in turn gets converted into kinetic energy as it results in the flow of electrons. Then, what do we mean by a battery? A battery is nothing but it is an arrangement of number of cells in series, and sometimes in parallel. Now, what is a battery we have seen, and what are the requirements of a battery? Now, when you consider a particular battery to be a good battery, okay, voltage of the battery should be a constant one. It should be a stable one. It should be light. It should be compact. It should be small in size so that it can be easily transported from one place to another place. And it should have a long life. It should be highly efficient and no possibility of self discharge, low maintenance cost, and easily available. And it should be inexpensive, easy to operate. There are two types of batteries. First one is a primary battery, and second one is a secondary battery. Now, what do you mean by primary battery? Certain batteries what we use in our daily life, as long as we use it and it gives us the energy, and at a particular point of time, it becomes unfit to further use. That means we can use it, and after some period of time, we have to throw it out. That is, it cannot be reused. And these type of batteries are known as primary batteries. So the primary batteries are the batteries which cannot be reused, whereas secondary batteries are the batteries which can be reused. Why? Why the primary batteries cannot be reused? Because the chemical reaction which is responsible for the chemical energy that is getting converted into electrical energy, they are irreversible. They cannot be reversed back. Whereas in the secondary batteries, you can reverse back the chemical reactions, so they are rechargeable. So the primary batteries are not rechargeable, so they cannot be recharged, hence they cannot be reused. Whereas secondary batteries, the chemical reactions are reversible, so they can be recharged and they can be reused. And if you take a primary battery, in the case of a primary battery, self-discharge is much less compared to secondary batteries. The very good example for primary batteries are tri-cell, alkaline cell, or alkaline battery, etc. And number of there is batteries what we use in a daily life are secondary batteries, lead acid battery, and then nickel battery, nickel metal hydride battery, lithium ion batteries. So all of them are secondary batteries. Now, in this session, particularly, we will see what do we mean by a fuel cell. Now, when you take a fuel cell, it's a device that is used to convert chemical energy into electrical energy. Here, we can draw the electrical energy continuously. It involves the continuous flow of energy. If you see the overall principle, it is nothing but the conversion of a fuel. Now, actually happens in that fuel cell is a fuel is getting burnt and it gets converted into product along with the liberation of energy. And here, the fuel commonly used is a compound, a chemical molecule like hydrogen, methane, etc. And in the presence of oxygen, they undergo combustion. That is, they undergo oxidation and they become responsible for flow of energy. Now, the commonly used fuel cell is hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. And from the diagram, you can see the construction of a fuel cell. So when you see the fuel cell that consists of a anode. Anode is nothing but it's a carbon, a porous carbon, and through which they bubbled inside hydrogen gas. And cathode is nothing but oxygen against the porous carbon through which oxygen gas is bubbled inside. And electrolyte is nothing but potassium hydroxide. It's a paste, it's there in the form of a paste. And the anode and cathode have been connected to each other by means of a wire, and the electric circuit gets completed. Okay. So now what happens during the working of a fuel cell? So when you take the fuel cell, I already told you, the whole principle is based on the combustion of the molecules like hydrogen. In the present case, it is a hydrogen. Now, what happens at the anode? All of us know anode involves oxidation, that is, the loss of one or more electrons. So, from the equation, you can find out the hydrogen which is bubbled inside, it undergo oxidation by means of losing two electrons, and then it becomes a hydrogen ion. And this hydrogen ion combined with OH minus, this OH minus comes from the cathode, and it results in the formation of a water molecule. Okay, so the overall reaction is H2 plus 2OH minus H2 plus OH minus gives you, okay, H2O. Clear? Now, at cathode, what happens? At cathode, the oxygen which is bubbled inside, and it accepts the electrons which comes from the anode, and it results in the formation of 4OH minus. That is, it releases 4 hydroxyl groups. Thus, the 4 hydroxyl groups in turn, it goes to the anode. Now, if you see the overall reaction, what is the overall reaction? There is a combination of anodic reaction and the cathodic reaction. That is, at anode, oxidation takes place, and at the cathode, reduction takes place. So, as a overall, you have to combine both the anodic reaction and the cathodic reaction and cancel the like terms on both the sides. So, we get 2H2 plus O2 gives you 2H2O with the release of energy. Now, what are the advantages of fuel cell? And it has a number of advantages. It is highly efficient and easy to operate, and it takes only less time to convert the chemical energy into electrical energy. And one of the product is a water that can be used in the case of emergency. And they are much efficient compared to other conventional sources. There is no pollution, there is no noise, and the energy which is given out is highly efficient, and it can be converted into any other form by through a simple operation. And nowadays, many research activities are going in improving the working principle of a fuel cell. Nowadays, a microbial fuel cell has given a much importance where the microbes are allowed to undergo decomposition in the form of oxidation, and the energy is produced. Now, disadvantages, and it is a source of continuous energy, but it cannot store energy like any other batteries, and it is too expensive. And when you take the fuels, they are hydrogen, oxygen, etc. And we know that hydrogen is highly inflammable, and it is not safe to use hydrogen as a fuel. So we have to take utmost care in handling and storing hydrogen gas, and since it may lead to accident. So for the storing purpose, they make use of carbon nanotubes, which is extremely expensive. And it is also very difficult to obtain the gases like hydrogen, oxygen in a 100% pure form. Again, it becomes a tedious task. And so there is a cost, initial cost is too high. So these are the few disadvantages of fuel cell. In spite of that, in spacecraft and in special laboratory conditions, they make use of the fuel cell for the effective use. Thank you, students.